Hey there, everybody. Welcome to a new Greenleaf spin-off discussion. And we'll be honest here from the jump. After watching the Greenleaf series finale, I was 100% convinced that we were going to have a Grace, New York, DARIUS. Maybe this is my Darius bias coming into play here, but I thought 1,000% that was going to be the spin-off. I was confident.
1,000,000%. No, for sure. I thought that's where we were going. We even had Zora talking to Sophia, kind of dropping this like, hey, it could be like a TV show. We're out in New York. I was like, okay, this is what's happening then. And then Grace got that call about going to New York. I'm like, okay, they are bringing a bunch of people over to New York. This has to be the spinoff, because what else could be the spinoff? Because everyone else is staying at the Greenleaf mansion. They're now back in the church. To me, I was like, oh, that can't be a spinoff. That's just a continuation of the show without Grace and Bishop.
Insert record scratch here, because it seems as though we are going to have a spinoff geared around Lady Mae based on some of the interviews and stuff that is out there following the finale. We'll talk through what this could look like. Is it actually just a continuation of Greenleaf itself? But before we do, if you guys like this video, give us a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you can support us further. Check those links in the description to the store, to our Patreon. We have live chats over there at the end of every month.
So, yes, this is what the spinoff is going to be. I'm pretty happy for it, honestly, because it does feel like, to me, that this is a continuation of Greenleaf. We're going to still sort of have, it seems, the same mansion. Tara has given them the mansion. She's not going to take it. Everything's going on at Calvary. I don't know if she's going to be necessarily at Calvary or if she's going to be somewhere else, but it seems like there could be a spot there. I mean, this then means, I think, or I would feel, that Charity is still going to be involved in this show. Jacob is still there. They're both living still in the house. So, like, that could continue on too.
I really am having a hard time sort of wrapping my head around like what exactly the premise of it is, because if you do keep Lady Mae at this same place, you are inevitably going to be like, okay, well then isn't Charity still going to be there? Isn't Jacob still going to be there? Like you said, like aren't you still going to have a lot of the supporting characters? Or do you say instead, okay, well, we're going to bring Lady Mae somewhere else and she's going to have like a new church and a new congregation, and like this is exciting and interesting, but then why? To go through all this trouble to get Calvary back from Harmony and Hope, and she's just going to leave it?
Yeah, and it seems like they want her to continue preaching there. I mean, Charity, it feels like she is going to want to start actually getting to preach there. And since we've seen Charity moving towards, this is her end goal. She wants to be speaking. And we saw at the end of this past season, I think it was like 3 or 4 episodes ago, where Mae brought her that Bible where it had Pastor Charity in the front of it, that since she was a kid, this is what she wanted. So I could see them kind of like, Lady Mae is leading this. Charity does have some of that in her life going on where she's able to do a little bit of preaching. But the other big question mark for me is Jacob. I mean, he was really a big part of this as well. He is still living in her house. And at the end of this episode, this finale, we saw that he had this conversation with Tara where it looked like there was some chemistry going on. Those smiles that were going back and forth, I don't know, man. But they also just, their mission is very similar, where they are really a lot more focused on helping the homeless and people in, really in the community, more so than sort of the big mega church and this and that. So with that, and them saying like, oh, it's going to be, Jacob, Tara, and then we're going to have Tasha, the 3 of them working together, and we know that there's chemistry going on with both these women. Is this going to be part of the spinoff?
I think it'd be fun. Like, I think it would be interesting to explore all of that. And I think it would also probably, if we had Jacob involved in the spinoff, it would justify the fact that Jacob didn't really have all that much closure in the series finale, it would sort of be like, okay, well, that was sort of intentional. That Greenleaf was sort of the story of Grace coming back and then leaving and everything that happens in between. And if you are to really frame Greenleaf as the story of Grace, this is sort of the story then of everyone who is still there.
Now, I know that they really push this narrative of renewal, and they said it over and over and over again. So now that I know that Lady Mae is the person who is the star of the spinoff, and now I'm looking back and I'm like, okay, I guess they were really trying to push that, it's new, brand new, we're so new, that it's just like when it was announced, I'm like, man, I'm really glad it's about Lady Mae, but this doesn't feel new. It feels like there are new things that have happened in her life, but her life is still her life. Her children are still her children. She is still a woman of God. She is still going to be part of the church. There is a lot that is still her, and not having Bishop, yes, she is going into a new phase of her life, but she's not a brand new person. She is still in her core herself. This is just a different phase of her life.
What I think does intrigue me about the idea is that if we are going with the theme of renewal and we're going to see ultimately Lady Mae as a new person in some ways, but she is still the same person we've seen, it is exciting to me to have a sort of premise where a lot of these skeletons that were in the closet, all of these big secrets that her and Bishop had to deal with, so many of them, are more out in the open now. And what does it mean to actually sort of have her life be a little bit more on the surface? Does it help her? Is there more that could be revealed? And also, how could she use, her experiences to sort of help others and shape others? I do think there's interesting stuff to be had there.
The other thing that makes me very, very excited about this spinoff is the idea that maybe there will be more with what happened with Mavis, because we were kind of expecting that there would be something in the finale, even if it was just she sent some flowers to be like, hey, I'm sorry for your loss. Something, a tiny thread of a bridge, maybe, but there was nothing. That is obviously a huge hanging thread between them, because they basically it's over. There is no forgiveness. There is no nothing. It is just a pile of ashes burned to the ground. But if now we're looking at that, could we have Mavis back? I mean, this is her sister.
It's her sister. I think as long as Oprah owns the network, I think there's a good chance that she'll at least consider coming back at some point. I definitely, it leaves the door open, definitely in a way that a Grace spinoff, there wouldn't be anywhere near as many reasons to bring her in at that point. But yeah, I think there is potential for it. I think it's something that people would really like to see. I think the problem is probably, given how busy Oprah is, can you do a storyline longer than an episode or two? I would like for her to have at least a 3 or 4 episode arc so we can actually get real closure and growth. I don't expect Mavis to be a regular or anything, but just give us a little bit of something.
And sort of going in that theme, we also still have Mavis's bar, which now Mae also has. So going into this spinoff, where is she going to be preaching? Is that idea over now, that she's not going to be doing that? We got Calvary back, so man, with the bar, what's going to happen with that?
There is a part of me that if they wanted to sort of just scale things down for the spinoff, maybe Lady Mae will discover at some point between the series finale and the start of the spinoff that, okay, I'm really, if I want to be made new, I can't continue to be where I've been. I will allow Charity to sort of take over and preach here. I want to get somewhere smaller, and maybe it would be about sort of her building up a church from scratch and what that looks like and how that feels like. That to me, it's like a really nice rags to riches story. It's kind of cool playing that out.
Yeah, and I mean, her relationship with Tara really surprised me, and I think it's because Basie was, Basie, and Rochelle was Rochelle, and then Tara came in, and I was like, oh no, but she ended up being exactly what she said she was, and her relationship with Mae became something that I really liked, because they both are sort of from different places but still have the same ideals and the same feelings about stuff. So I really hope that Tara's actually going to be a part of this, because, she is connected sort of to Jacob and his feeling about wanting to work with the homeless, and they're really on the same page. So that bar, I feel like it should still come into play in some way, whether it's Jacob and Tara and Tasha take over that bar and add it to the community center that Tara is also working with, or it could be sort of a switch where Mae is like, listen, Tara, you gave me the house and I'm really appreciative of that, so let me give something to you. I was going to be working at Calvary, but now I'd like you to be working here, have a bit of a bigger stage to get the message out there, and I'm going to take over this bar and do something else with it.
As you can see, there are so many different directions this can go, whether it is the bar, whether it is if you go and stick with Cavalry, what characters you bring into play here. The reality is that we're probably not going to see this spinoff for at least another year. They don't even really have too many details locked in yet, so patience is going to be a virtue here, but just knowing we have something after losing Greenleaf last night, it's a comfort.
And knowing that it's about Lady Mae, and it's not that I didn't want it to be about Grace, because I was excited for the Grace part of it. I was a little bit worried about the sort of Zora and Sophia part of it, because I didn't want to see another young women in New York, that storyline we've seen a million times. I was hoping they were going to kind of flip it around a little bit and do something different with it, and they may have. I mean, this show has been really good at doing that stuff, but Lady Mae and Lynn's work on this show, I'm really excited for this.
Let's hope we get a lot more information, details, all that good stuff soon. I would love it if it comes out next summer, but, I don't want to get too wishful in my thinking here. But for now, we
have to have faith.
Let's have faith. Come on, and let us know what you think about the idea of a Lady Mae Greenleaf spinoff in the comments. And if you do like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking those links to the store and our Patreon, and we'll see you here next time.